the Hedgehog characters and the phenomenon known as shipping, where you take two characters that like each other very much, or maybe not like each other at all, I don't know, and you put them together, and it's called a ship. So there's different pairings that you can do, and I chose to go with the gay route of Sonic and Shadow together. So that's just as a heads up. There is lots of tension, especially around chapters 4 and 5, in terms of sexual tension. There's no explicit sexual scenes in this story, so it is safe for audiences between ages of, I would say, around maybe 10 at the very youngest, all the way up. So yeah, just be aware if you've got kids and you're reading this fiction piece for yourselves, which you could do so at AO3, Archive of Our Own. I'm going to share with you my pen name there in a moment. But yeah, if you would like to read this story, just as a heads up, it's not quite for kids. And neither is this stream, but again, as I said, I'm going to be censoring myself a little bit more this evening because I do at times have a younger audience that tunes in. So I just want to be aware and mindful of, people's preferences. So let's get into our story, speaking of preferences. Let's get into chapter 2. Now it's called To the World of the Memory, which is the name of a Sonic the Hedgehog video game. I think a soundtrack or maybe level was it from Sonic 06? Oh, I don't know. But this game, by the way, this story references Sonic Adventure 2, and it ties in directly with the Sonic movie universe. So if you're familiar with Sonic movies 1, 2, and 3, then you would like this story. This story does not spoil in any major way Sonic Movie 3. So if you have not seen Sonic Movie 3 yet, and you'd like to read this story, you are safe to do so. It will not spoil the story whatsoever. And my pen name here on AO3 is Easily Distracted Jedi. So I've Easily Distracted Jedi. I've been writing fan fiction for a while, but it's only been in the past few years that I've publicly posted it. Years and years and years ago, I think I said this last stream, that was recorded through YouTube and did not get recorded here on Twitch. Years and years ago when I did this, I was under a different pen name on fanfiction.net, and I've since moved over to Archive of Our Own. So let's get into the story though. So in the summary for tonight's chapter, which is chapter 2 of It's Complicated, Shadow and Sonic have strange experiences about one another before they meet, and it scares each of them in their own way. Now, I apologize if my throat gets messed up. I did have some honey before this, but, it happens. So, let's get into the chapter itself. Let me pull that up, and then we will jump in. So, folks, if you would like to stick around for the reading, you're welcome to do so. If you're just waiting for me to start the game, just sit tight. The game will start around 6 o'clock. So this will be done by that point, and then we'll move forward. If you want to just listen in, you're welcome to it. Feel free, grab a drink, grab something to eat, listen in as I share this story with you. It's story time. And again, this is chapter 2 for my fanfiction called It's Complicated, which is a Sonadow shipping story. And again, this goes over Sonic movies 1, 2, and 3. So that's the universe in which this takes place, the Sonic movie universe, just to clarify further. So let me jump in now. I think last time when I did this reading, I impersonated some folks that were in the movie. I'm probably not going to be able to do that tonight, given how my voice sounds at this point. So just, I'm not a voice actor, but I'll do my best when I read this to you. So, let's begin. Shadow felt the chaos energy surging through him, fueled by the mean bean coffee he had consumed minutes ago. He moved away from the town center of Green Hills. He was somehow drawn energetically toward the forest surrounding it. He glided over the snow, his air shoes allowing him to hover over the snowbanks as he went, moving as if he were skating. If I were stranded on this world, where would I hide? Shadow thought to himself. The forest surrounded him on all sides, and he expertly dodged the large Douglas fir trees in the darkness. His air shoe burners scorched the fallen needles, their citrus and pine scent wafting around him as he went. The bright notes of citrus suddenly caused him to sense the presence of that other hedgehog. What was his name again? He welcomed this hedgehog's energy, surprised he could feel his competitive yet warm nature despite being so far from him physically. This Hedgehog was running alongside him, his arms thrown back, his blue quills aglow, as his own red and black were. "I've got to find a new place to hide," Sonic's voice echoed to Shadow from the past, frozen amongst the trees. He pictured Sonic's green eyes meeting his for a moment, a cheeky smirk peeking through his peach face fur. The gaze of Shadow melted away his fear, and Shadow felt his heart catch in his throat. He then nearly found himself slamming into a tree that was lodged directly in front of him and brought his effortless glide to a screeching halt. Shadow gasped, clutching his white chest fur while leaning against the offending tree. His head spun and he felt sick. The hell was that? He wanted to know. Whose energy was that? Why is it here in this forest? Shadow caught his breath, the icy air making his lungs and nose burn. He knew he couldn't sweat too much, or he could risk getting hypothermia, and sighed in frustration. "Damn it," he swore softly. "I need a place to stay, or risk freezing over tonight. I'd prefer not entering a second stasis." Shadow squeezed his fists, and this caused him to press a button within them to light the air shoes. In the flash of light, Shadow noticed it in the soil surrounding the Douglas firs. Sonic's footprints. Well, Dr. Robotnik had found Sonic years before. The footprints were undisturbed, as this part of the forest was rarely visited by people. They were buried by pine needles and moss, but Shadow could determine their shape all the same. "So, I found you, other Hedgehog," Shadow thought, and followed the footprints to Sonic's old underground den. Chaos Spear! Shadow moved his arm down forcefully, and that sent a beam of light into the darkened den space. "Huh, not too bad. Roomy. Warmer than above. I'll take it," Shadow commented as he made his way to the den's center. As he walked from the corner where he entered to the center, he found a zip-up hoodie with holes pierced into its back, evidence that Sonic indeed was there at one point. He put it on and smirked. Royal blue, not exactly my color, but beggars can't be choosers. He sniffed the jacket's pits and stuck his tongue out at first, then rolled his bright crimson eyes. "Ugh, smells like, what is that dish? I've seen it maybe once. Triangle shapes. Tomato sauce? That. Well, I suppose he had to scrounge on what he could find. Poor creature." Once that scent faded, Shadow's nose was hit by the natural citrus and sandalwood notes of Sonic's quills. A shiver rushed up his spine. Shadow sensed Sonic's past frenetic energy in the den. He sensed him playing games, reading comics, moving with restless curiosity. The more Shadow caught Sonic's scent, the more he could feel Sonic's movements, again frozen in time. Why can't I feel this other Hedgehog? I can't do this with humans, and I can't do this with any other creatures I've met so far. Odd. He found a nest, Sonic's old beanbag chair, in the middle of the den, by feel more than sight. Shadow drew the hoodie tight around him and settled into the chair. First, he sat on it and tried crossing his legs, but he sank in the middle and let a surprised "oh," because he's sinking into it. He then marveled at how the chair conformed to his body, and immediately felt his body heat rising. He sighed loudly, shocked at how contented he was. What's this feeling? I feel safe. Is this what peace feels like? Shadow felt his shivering slow down as he crawled into the fetal position and robed in Sonic's hoodie, surrounded by the soft leather beanbag chair. He felt his breathing slow, his heart rate too. It might not be Longclaw's nest, but it'll have to do, Sonic's voice echoed in Shadow's mind. That made Shadow sit up, looking around fervently and shivering again. "Hello?" he growled. No response in the den. But Sonic sat up from a deep sleep, jolted wide awake in his race car bed, bright green eyes dilated to the max. He breathed hard as if he had run faster than ever. "Tom, Maddie!" Sonic whimpered softly to the darkness of his attic bedroom, their names aghast between rough breaths. "Guys? My dream was really, really weird. Weirder than the ones where I'm Blue Justice fighting the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man." No answer. Sonic suddenly felt cold, despite the small space heater Tom installed before the winter set in. He drew his comforter around and tighter, trying to mimic his old beanbag chair. "Come on, Sonic. It's just a nightmare. You've had lots of those before. His cheery nature dropped to a somber mood, and he felt exhausted. It was weird, though, finding that guy, Hedgehog, in my old den in the woods. They said hello. It was so cold. So cold. Sonic shivered and jumped in fright as Tom pulled down the ladder to get into Sonic's room. Sonic? Tom called up as he made his way up the ladder, a flashlight in hand. Tom heard him gasping and talking to himself, and feared his hedgehog son had gone sleepwalking again, or was attempting to do another Blue Justice run halfway around the world. Tom! Sonic ran over to Tom and gave him a hug. Tom was startled by Sonic's show of affection and ran a large hand into his clothes gently. What's up, big guy? Tom wanted to know, kneeling down to look Sonic in the eyes. I had the worst dream. I can't explain it, but I can feel another hedgehog in the woods, Sonic blurted, pacing, his eyes filled with worry. What are you talking about? Tom asked softly. Remember, Maddie's sleeping. It's 3 a.m., so let's try and calm down, okay? He did his best to reassure Sonic. Okay. Sonic sat on the bed, trying the breathing exercises Maddie taught him over the summer. Tom waited until Sonic was ready to share more. Then Sonic mumbled, rubbing the back of his neck. So, yeah, in this dream, I was running in the forest. I was trying to find a place to hide from Robotnik again. Ah, yeah, okay, Tom nodded. A flashback, he thought. And I found my old den, and in my beanbag chair there was this other dude, guy, hedgehog. He smelled interesting, like a flower in Maddie's garden. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, he said hello, and I froze. I freaked out. I don't usually do that. Me? I'm the overconfident type, you know? But around this hedgehog, it's like he could see my soul. And then I woke up. During his monologue, Sonic's eyes filled with anxious tears. He was shaking and tried to do the deep breathing exercises. His heart was pounding. Maybe that other hedgehog was you? Tom suggested. Often in dreams, you're thinking of past events, or you're reminded of past situations, so your brain projects you into other people, or animals? Animal people? Tom, please. I'm not a furry. Tom smirked at Sonic's sarcasm. Then, you're going through a lot right now, Sonic. That den was your first home. Maybe you miss it. Maybe, Sonic trailed off, frowning. Still, this hedgehog sounded way different than me, so I don't think it's me. Well, Tom placed a hand on Sonic's shoulder, squeezing it firmly. I'm sure the answer will come to you in the morning. Sonic sighed, closing his eyes, wiping off his tears with a gloved fist. Tom, Sonic addressed his father figure softly, as Tom stood and walked over to the attic ladder. Tom turned back to look at Sonic warmly. Yeah, bud? I think I liked the way that hedgehog was, even though he scared me. What do you mean? Tom was confused. He tilted his head in the way his pet Labrador did, and Sonic smiled at last. Dude, you did the dog thing, he laughed. Then after a bit of silence to gather his thoughts, Tom, have you ever thought that guys were hot? You mean like Randall? The guy is a total jerk. Don't tell Rachel I said that. But I could see how a guy like that would be attracted to her. He's so built and flexes all the time. And No, Sonic stuttered, a blush rising to his cheeks below his peach face fur. I mean, can a guy like a guy more than... Tom nodded and drew in a breath. This is beyond what I can help with. Maddie needs to chat with him in the morning. Then aloud, Sonic, if that's how you feel, don't fight it. And I think it's best for you to sleep on those thoughts now, huh? I gotta get back to bed. Right, Sonic smiled, nodding. He got back into bed himself as Tom went down the ladder. Good night, he called down. Night, Sonic. Tom smiled up at his hedgehog son. Sonic laid back down, staring up at the ceiling of the attic. A glow-in-the-dark star from a sea of them fell and landed on his nose. Ow, he grunted and rolled his eyes, pulling it up, letting it sit in his hand for a moment, before rolling to one side and going back into listless sleep. My wish is to figure this out. Meanwhile, Shadow had also tried to return to his sleeping pose, lost in thought while in Sonic's beanbag chair. These must be echoes from the other hedgehog's past. The doctor seemed sure he was alive. Could my abilities with the Chaos Emeralds be warping my sense of time? And how in chaos can I sense his presence? Maybe this is a new ability. Maybe a sense from the black arms. Or maybe something within just me. Shadow let this reasoning soothe him as he fell into a restless sleep. And I think that this transitions now into chapter 3. So there are a total, like I said, of 5 chapters up right now on AO3. And as I said, this story is called It's Complicated. It's a Sonadow story. It's by me, DLP, and my pen name there is Easily Distracted Jedi. Right now, my story stands at a total of almost 1,400 hits. Oh my goodness. I'm going to be posting the next chapter in the story soon. So yeah, my story is called It's Complicated. Again, it does have some relationships here that are primarily gay male relationships. So you got Sonic and Shadow. They will develop a relationship in more depth as the story goes on. Just kind of as a heads up, as a warning, there's no, like, there's the themes are there's sexual tension, but as I said, there's no, like, it's not erotic. So there's no erotica here. So I kept it pretty tame. It's rated T for teens, as I said. Kids can read it, but it's advised that they don't. This is really more geared towards teens to adults in terms of age range, in terms of reading material. But I'd like to say thank you once again for the folks that have been reading my stories, including what's here on AO3, for the folks that have been supporting me in my creative endeavors online. Since I'm doing this through Chrome and since it'll work, let me pull up my website here just so you all know. So you can directly support me through Ko-fi, which the Ko-fi bot is posting here in the Twitch stream. But you can also support me here on my website. And so I am an independent author and artist. I'm not working with any of major companies or corporations that I write about, whether that's Paramount or Disney or any of the other major corps. I don't even work for SEGA. I'm just a fan person. I've been a fan of a lot of those properties for many, many years. And so my art, my stories, reflects that interest. And I also have original works too, which is I'm sharing with you now. So you're more than welcome to check this out. So that's my homepage here and all that stuff. So but yeah, so this is, my original work that I've got. I take photos of stuff. I go out to nature and take photos. I take photographs of toys that I not only customize but also collect. And I write stories in my spare time. In addition to fan fiction, I have original books and I have original stories, which I'm going to share with you right now. So I did share this last weekend as well, last Saturday, in more depth and detail, but this is a finished piece. Yara's Crossing is a finished novel that I completed in 2022. It's self-published and it's a dinosaur fantasy story. So if you like books like Dinotopia or Alan Dean Foster books, like he wrote Dinotopia Lost, which is like a spin-off of that. If you like Raptor Red by Robert T. Bakker, if you like any of those kinds of stories that are high fantasy merged with dinosaur paleontology, you will like my book. So Yara's Crossing is a story where the protagonist, Yara, is tasked with becoming a warrior feather in her group of avian dinosaurs. And she also goes on a journey of self-discovery in the process. So it pulls from influences like C.S. Lewis and Tolkien and Gurney. It's got a blend of all of those together in this book. Yara's Crossing is an original piece. This is not fan fiction. This is not based on any other story. This is a unique original piece that I've been writing for most of my young adult life. So I hope that you enjoyed this book. And for folks that have read my book, thank you. For folks that did, please leave a review. You can leave a review for me. You can email me, leave a review that way. You can message me and leave a review through Amazon, all that fun stuff. So Yara's Crossing, where to get it? Check out my link tree. So my link tree is Warrior Feather Creations. I'm going to go ahead and post this into the Twitch chat log as well, so you're welcome to check that out too, in addition to the Ko-fi bot that's going around. Linktree is another way to directly support me. as an independent artist. So if you're so inclined, you are more than welcome to, you know, check it out. There's my links to everything, all of my pages, all of my work is all here on this Linktree page. So in addition to a link to back to, of course, our Twitch stream that's going to be running in a few moments here with the game. So I'll fire up the game here in a bit, but I just wanted to share this creative stuff with you before we jump in. For custom ponies, I do have a couple projects that I am working on right now. I just started 2 new customs, and you can guess what their theme is going to be. Just go ahead and guess. But anyway, yeah, so some new custom ponies are going to be made by me. So I do a lot of different types of art. I'm a traditional artist more than I am a digital artist, but I do have some experience with digital art as well. So if you'd like to check out everything that I've done, just go ahead and check all the stuff out on my main webpage. Feel free to learn more about me and the things that I can do for you creatively if you're so inclined. And working with me in the future, hey, there's my website, there's my info. Hello, hello. Feel free to check it out. So I'm more of a traditional artist than I am a digital artist, but I'm more than happy to learn more. I have used Photoshop and Illustrator in the past. I use GIMP now, which is the free version of Photoshop. That's a freeware, I think. And yeah, so I also work with Canva, which is what our presentation is. So I make all kinds of art. I make dinosaur art. I make critter art. That's usually my focus, is animals rather than people. And, of course, fan art, too. So I've been a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog for a long time, since I was around, oh gosh, like I said at the start of the stream, maybe 7 or 8 years old. So I've been drawing Sonic since then. I've been playing the games, and it's just a lot of fun. And I'm so happy to share my fan fiction with you, and share my stories with you, and share my art with you, and share this time with you too. Not just with gaming, but with a little piece of me just presented here for you to enjoy on the internet. And as I said, if you hear that jingle in the background, that is my cat, Mochi. So like I said, I don't know if she'll make an appearance or not, but yeah, so let me just go ahead and share this with y'all. So yeah, Sonadow story, I just went over that with you. I hope that you enjoyed that, by the way, folks. I hope you enjoyed the reading. By the way, too, if you're watching this stream and you like the stories that I've been sharing with you here, and you like my art and things like that, and you want to feature my story, if you want to feature the work that I present on your own streams or, online or what have you, please just go ahead, reach out. Message me, reach out to me, and we can, work together on it. And I'd be more than happy to, have my fan fiction be represented in comics or whatever. That'd be fun. So if you're interested, and if you're a voice actor and you want to read this and you want to, add more flair to it than what I can do in these streams, you're more than welcome to do that. And I would be excited and flattered. And again, as long as I'm given credit for the stories that I've written and for the images that I've shared, that is, you're more than welcome to, do that, especially with fan fiction. With the original works that I shared, like Yara's Crossing, for example, that is under my own copyright. So, like I shared with you last week, the copyright issue with Johnny Gioeli is underway. I don't know if any of you are familiar with who that is. That is the lead singer for the band Crush 40 that was made for the Sonic films and for the franchise. So, yeah. So, I don't want to be embroiled in legal battle, please. So, original works, that are mine, that have original characters, please be mindful that I do have the copyright. And that, if you do want to share things like that on a Twitch stream for yourselves and things like that, please reach out to me, contact me, no matter what. And we'll see.